Hello, hello! Give me just one moment to see if the audio is okay, and then we will start. Okay, it seems like everything is pretty good, which I'm very happy about. So, hello everybody, my name is Kikerlin, or you may also know me as Dino from PCF1, and today we will be watching F2 again, just like last time. I am again reserving for Blake, who is not here unfortunately. So, today's track, or today's whole week track, like we saw yesterday in F3, and we're gonna see tomorrow in F1, is China. Some words about China. The track was first hosted in 2004 until 2019, and then it hasn't taken place up until this year. It's supposed to take place actually next week, which is going to be very exciting, as a lot of people do praise this track for being quite exciting quite often as well. The team that was most dominant and driver most dominant on this track were Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, winning 6 times, both of them, but Fernando Alonso and Nico Rosberg both have 2 wins each, which is very nice to see as well. The track is 5.4 kilometers long, and it has 16 corners, 5 fast speed, 5 medium speed, and 6 slow speed corners. So you have a really nice mix of everything, which for a track you kind of want to have, because that means you are going to have some pretty nice and smooth corners that will be flowing, and then you will have some overtaking opportunities. Speaking of, the main are going to be into turn 6 and turn 14, which are hairpins. And you have 2 DRS zones, one on the start-finish straight going from turn 16 to turn 1, and right after the snail section of 11, 12, 13 up until turn 14, once the longest straight of any circuit, but now that has been taken over by first Baku and then Las Vegas last year. So yeah, things on this track look pretty good on paper. So that is pretty nice to see, as we are going into the session. So let me just transfer some things over here, and there we go. I will of course check the in-game audio to see if everything is working well. You can also tell me in chat if it's working well. And yeah, let's see how today's race will fare compared to the race yesterday in F3, which was very chaotic. Let's speak about the drivers and the Constructors' Championship, currently led by Tyler and the Alpine boys, Tyler being one of them, and Callum Lyons, 4 points separating Alpine to Aston Martin. And Tyler, like I said, is currently leading with Andreas Reimann in the Aston Martin, currently 12 points behind him, and Marko Dordovic in P3 with 54 points, 28 points behind Ade, or yeah, no, it's behind Tyler. It's 16 points behind Ade. So yeah, things are looking quite good in the championship, so let's see what stuff can happen today. Looks like we have a dry qualifying session, which is very nice to see, but we do not know yet the conditions for the wet. And seeing how the drivers are already 50 seconds in the pit lane, I think we have a wet qualifying session. I think it is going to be a wet qualifying, because no one is still going out. Let me just check the audio real quickly again. Okay. It seems pretty good, and we finally have someone out, and it is going to be our Alpine driver of Callum Lyons. I honestly don't know how to pronounce your surname, so if you're listening this, I am very sorry in advance. I'm gonna call you Lyons, and you can remind me that I am wrong afterwards, or maybe someone in the comments can also say that. You might be seeing that we are missing a certain other Alpine of Tyler Witz, who is not racing today, unfortunately, so it will be up for grabs for Marco and Ade to get some points in the Drivers' Championship to close in the gap. Already told you the gap before, that is 16 points and 12 points. So I think that they need to really capitalize on this weekend if they want to have their championship hopes still alive in these early stages of the season, while we are actually going on the halfway point of the season. Very quickly, I might add. This season is going very rapidly. Could be because of the pronounced release of F124 coming in a month and a half, which is the earliest that a F1 game has been released, which is very interesting, but also kind of scary, because who knows what types of features were removed to make that deadline happen, to get it the earliest that we've had it. I guess we will have to wait and see until the game releases, or when the beta, this Friday, is going to be accessible to people. But enough about that, we are going to go on board with Callum Lyons. I said I'm going to call him Lyons before, I'm going to mess this up. We're going to go on board his lap for the first lap of the Chinese Grand Prix, and I'm going to give you a little tour. So as he crosses the finish line, you want to go into turn 1, brake, or slightly brake on 50, but let your car cruise through all of the corners, go 3rd gear. You could go 2nd gear here in turn 2 and turn 3 for a little bit more rotation, but turn 3 for the exit to give you the most traction. Turn 5 is flat out. Going into turn 6, you want to brake around the 100-meter board, maybe a little bit later, 90 meters, to not lock up and to not lose back end, and he takes that very nicely. 3rd gear again for the most stability, flat out going into turn 7 and 8. And this corner is also pretty difficult. You want to set yourself up for the next corner already, which is, in my opinion, the most difficult, because you can really easily lose backhand if you're not careful with your throttle and brake management. Now going into turn 10, before the long snail section, you again want to brake around the 100-meter board, maybe a little bit later if you're confident on the brakes. Stay in 3rd gear, perhaps short shift to 4th gear. We didn't see Callum do that, but still a great exit nonetheless, as he took 4th gear. And now opening the DRS on the halfway point of the straight will give him a little bit more kilometers right before the next braking zone into the hairpin of turn 14. You want to take it around 110 meters, 120, just to not overshoot. And going on to the final corner, turn 16, 50 meters, don't hug the inside curb, and that is a pretty solid lap from Callum Lyons, a 131.860. Pretty impressive stuff there from the Alpine driver, but I think he still has a lot to prove. Next word to cross line was N4 in the Red Bull, 132.2, and we already have another pole sitter of FA in the Mercedes, 131.5. So pretty good stuff so far. But we did see, I think, in F3 yesterday, a 31.5 pole, which I think Andreas has already now beaten with a new provisional pole time with a 131.4. Born by April has also crossed line, 132.6, not the best, 4 tenths behind N4, and I think that is Connor, one of the F3 reserves. No, that's not Connor. I don't know who this is. I'm just gonna call him Cynics. I'm gonna call him Loyal. On the mediums, doing a 33.2. I don't know why he would use the mediums, just save them for the race, but oh well, it's his strategy, so... The Ferrari of Marko Dordovic, P3 in the championship, 131.8. 22 thousandths behind one of his Alpine rivals, so he's definitely going to want to improve. Next across the line is going to be Caleb White, 131.7, goes P4, pretty solid lap time from the McLaren driver there. As we see another F3 reserve crossing the finish line to start his lap, Harvey Conway nearly win the race yesterday, as we saw Thomas Underhill, I think it was, take the win. I don't know if he's reserved today, I don't think so, so we will not see him today, but still congratulations if you're watching the stream on the win. And we're gonna now see John Hearn cross the finish line, P6 for the Williams driver. Not too bad, but we see a lot of people currently in the .8s, so I think that is going to be kind of the middle ground for our drivers here, kind of the lap times from P4 to, I would say, P10 perhaps. So that is pretty impressive. We see another F3 reserve of Charlie Gordon, just about to cross the finish line, racing in Alpine in F3, racing in Alpine in F2 currently, and already beating some F2 drivers, 132.0. Right behind them we saw Mitch Snape cross the finish line, 131.9. So both the Ferrari drivers currently pretty close to one another, which perhaps it's good showing, but I think they want to be higher to impress the Ferrari team, as in F3 and F1, Ferrari is doing wondrously. I think P2 in the championship in the constructors in F3, and then P1 in F1. So they will want to improve quite significantly to secure domination for Ferrari in all divisions, as Harvey Conway has crossed the finish line 132.3, currently the slowest, I think, of the reserves, because I have no idea if Loyal is a reserve, which I think he is, but I do not know. As I think we see Adam Bradshaw just crossing the finish line to start this lap. Let's go on board with him. Let's see what he is going to be able to do while I will check the game audio, like I said, and I still haven't done that. I think I need to increase a little bit of the game audio. Or actually, no, it's good, it's good. Also, yeah, I am a little bit sick, so it's nothing major, but if you see some like weird noises like I don't know what to call them in English, yeah, just know I'm sick. I'm not feeling currently the best that I can, but yeah. Okay, so the game audio is good, my audio is good, so let's just watch the onboard of Adam Bradshaw's rest of the lap, as I think he will get a little bit of slipstream by the Mercedes of Harvey, or not. I think that could be slight blocking, as that's not really the optimal line you wanna take through the snail section, because you wanna kinda glide on the inside and not go as wide as Adam had there. But maybe that's just his normal line, I do not know. But Adam Bradshaw has been very unlucky this season, being one of the more promising drivers to be challenging for the title, but the beginning stages of the season weren't good for him, as he had a lot of mistakes and DNFs, but he is gonna wanna climb back, as I don't think this will climb him back with a 132.5 currently in P12, one of the back markers so far. So yeah, we'll see if he will improve. I mean, everyone will probably improve, as we still have 8 minutes left of the session, so I think most of the people will do one more lap, but if we see some people being ambitious, we will see all of the softs being used, which I think the Red Bull of N4 is going to be doing, which is going to be very interesting indeed, so let's see what he does. But we see Harry Spanswick still hasn't gone out in the Haas, so I'm curious on what he's doing at the moment, what kind of strategies Haas are cooking in that garage. As we see a yellow flag, I think that's just someone running out of fuel, as I think Marco will just about to start his lap. So, let's see what he does, as I think mostly everyone is going in. I think Vincent is about to, as he's on the start-finish rate, I think he will probably cross the finish line. So we can see what lap he does, but I think we can just stay on board with the Ferrari, because I don't think we were before on board. So let's see what he does, let's see what kind of lines he has, as he locks up slightly into turn 6. He did brake quite late into the corner, not the most optimal line, but still took the apex, so perhaps he hasn't lost any time, because that's a light mistake. Another lockup going into 9-10. slight back-end loss at the exit as well, but still 5/10 faster as he goes very deep into turn 11, I think that is, so that I think is going to lose him all of the time that he has gained, unfortunately. So he will have to go in and do another lap, as he will probably abandon it. But let's see if he does finish it, as we see more people going into the pits. So Vincent actually going in, which I thought he was in the lap, but perhaps he wasn't. As we see Marco just about to get to the final corner, takes it very nicely actually, and let's see if he improves even with the mistake. Yes, he does! Goes P1, or provisional pole position, 131.323. If that 2 was gonna be a 1, that would have been very nice. Just a 1-3 sequence of numbers. As I think right behind him, Callum Leon's also improved, going into P2 on the front row, right behind Marco. So both of them are currently looking pretty fast on this circuit after quite a long time of not racing on this track. I think last time we raced here, in GRS, I mean, was in Season 5, which was quite a few months ago. So, people are doing pretty well so far. As we see Harvey Conway just starting his lap, but let's see if anyone will cross the finish line to perhaps improve. N4, I think, is heading into the pits as his fuel light is flashing. Mitch Snape is about to cross the finish line to start his lap. But I think first we're gonna go on board with Harvey and then switch back to Mitch as his lap progresses, as currently Harvey is improving by 2.5 tenths, taking a very nice line going into turns 9 and 8, but staying in fourth gear, which will give him more, or would give him more stability, but in terms of the exit, he would have lost slightly, but still a purple sector 2 nonetheless, 4 tenths up, which is pretty good from the Mercedes. If he carries on with this performance, he will bump himself up to P9, which for an F3 reserve, that would be pretty solid work. Even though we saw him race last time in Australia, nearly winning the sprint race, so Harvey, we know, can deliver under pressure with being in a higher division. But he's now about to cross the finish line. Let's see where he goes. P9, as I predicted, 131.9. Very impressive stuff there from the F3 driver, as I think he currently leads the reserve championship here in qualifying. But let's see if Mitch Snape can take back that position of P9, or maybe go even higher. Even a tenth of an improvement will move him 2 positions, and 3 tenths will move him into P5, which would be a nice solid ground to work upon in the race, as he actually abandons his lap and goes into the pits, fully misjudges the pit entry. Thankfully there's no gravel there, like a few years ago, where Hamilton, I think, screwed up his chances. I think it was in 2007 or perhaps 2008 when he was battling for the title. I am not sure. But yeah, thankfully they removed that, so you can very easily just go wide and not go into the wall or be stuck in the gravel, which does happen, trust me. So yeah, we have 2 minutes left of the session. We are going to see all the final runs being made. Yeah, the final runs being made right as we speak. As you can see, all of the people going out on outlaps. So yeah, everyone is going in, but Harry Spanswick's still not going out, and if he waits a little bit longer, he won't have enough time to do a lap. Maybe the house driver has a quali ban, which I do not know of. I am really not sure. As we see the first guy crossing the finish line and doing his lap is, I think, going to be Caleb, but I think also Yes, Anthony Bog is going to first cross the finish line, so let's follow him for his final lap as he just fully goes wide, and that is still a valid lap. I'm confused how, if... okay. Uh, let's see how much he improves by. Still 5/10, puts himself into P12. I wonder how much time he lost with that mistake, which is very unfortunate there. For Anthony, I think that is going to be his qualifying over. He is going to be in P12, but I think he's going to be demoted after everyone else do their lap. That is Vincent going into P4, the Aston Martin driver. That is a pretty nice qualifying from him. Let's see who's next to cross the line. I think everyone else is starting, but Caleb is going to be the first one to finish his lap, so let's stay on board with him. Also, I figured out that for some reason, if I press some buttons to go quickly to some drivers, some of the telemetry just fully goes off for some reason. So I have to just scroll like this and not fast forward to other drivers, so it is gonna be pretty slow. As Caleb crosses the finish line, goes to P2, 20 thousandths off of Marco's pole position time. Very unfortunate there, but still a impressive job from the McLaren nonetheless, as the checkered flag is being waved. And let's hope no one else does mistakes, as we see John Ahern going to be the next to cross the finish line, as we see yellow flags for both. I think that's Vincent and an Alpine of presumably Charlie. I'm not sure, as we see John cross the finish line, going P2, 2,000 off of Marco's pole position time. Impressive stuff there from John, but so unfortunate as well. That is... that's gonna... Ooh, he's not gonna be happy about that one, missing by 2,000s. But Andreas will make that to a bit easier, as 131.1 new provisional pole. Callum Lyons 131.320, 3 thousandths ahead. FA new provisional pole 131.1. I think that was Adam Bradshaw crossing the finish line 131.6, and 4 crosses the finish line 131.9. As we see Loyal spinning, Mitch... oh no, that was Marco not improving. Mitch crosses the finish line 131.6, and that was Charlie, yes, as he hasn't improved, and Caleb is just cruising. We already saw his improvements, so that is going to be our qualifying for today's race. FA out of nowhere just puts it on pole with a 131.170. Right behind him, it's going to be Andreas Ryman, sharing the front row with only 25 thousandths off of the pole time. I'm honestly very much impressed how close everyone is. I did not expect this in the slightest, especially not here in China, where at least I would expect some pretty huge gaps. But I was very wrong. As in the second row of the grid, it is going to be Callum Lyons and Marko Dordovic, John Ahern and Caleb White P5 and P6. Vincent Ryman, pretty unfortunate for him, he is not going to be happy with this qualifying session. He will want to improve in the race. P7 for him, with sharing the fourth row with Adam Bradshaw. Loyal in P9, Mitch Snape in P10, Charlie Gordon, Harvey Conway in P11 and P12, and for P13, Anthony Bogan P14, and Harry Spanswick hasn't set a lap time, so I still don't know why he hasn't set a lap time, but I'm gonna guess that it was a quali ban, which I guess it's the only logical reason. As we see, the race is dry so far, but I still am counting that because people didn't go out instantly, which they usually do. I still think it's gonna be wet. And if people go soft, and hard, that's also gonna be showing for rain, probably, in the beginning or ending stages of race. as we're just waiting for people to sort their strategies, fuel, and perhaps some final tweaks of the setup. And after that, we will go ahead into the race for the Chinese Grand Prix in Season 7 of GRS. As the lights are being shown, we have 5 red lights. And we are underway for the Chinese Grand Prix. It looks like FA has gotten a pretty good start, but himself and Andreas Reimann still go side by side going into turn 1, and Andreas just fully goes in, takes that position very quickly as he is now under pressure from Callum Leon's behind, but Callum also is under pressure from John side by side going into turn 3, and he has got it. He's gone into P3 right behind. Also we see Marco and Caleb going side by side going into turn 6, as I think Marco has the slight advantage here, nearly making contact with the Alpine in front as FA makes a slight mistake at the exit of the corner, loses 3 position in the process, going side by side with Caleb. That's gonna be very sketchy, but they do not make contact. Caleb is going to take it as Marco now tries to take advantage of that, as Adam Bradshaw again has DNF'd from the race, as Charlie Gordon has gotten a 5-second time penalty for contact with Adam Bradshaw. So Bradshaw's luck is still continuing from the beginning of the season, just DNFing every single race. Unfortunate there from the McLaren driver, but another race to forget for him. As we wait for the virtual safety car to end, let's check some comments very quickly to see if anyone has said anything. I'm obligated to for Marco and say he'll win from pole, otherwise I won't win tomorrow. Well, he didn't start on pole, so that's already off the window. Okay, he made... Okay, that was dangerous from Marco there. Speaking of him, don't do that. You're lucky you didn't get any damage or a 5-second time penalty. Okay, he may not go out of pole, but that Marco guy will definitely win. We'll see. As Andreas Reimann has gotten a really good virtual safety car restart, as we see people still going side by side. Georgievich nearly closing the door on Caleb White and making contact there. That would have been pretty chaotic, as right behind him we also see FA and Vincent. Vincent trying to claw back some positions. With, speaking of clawing positions, Harvey, the F3 reserve, has gotten some as well, as he goes side by side with his teammate. He has the inside line. Is he going to make it stick? Yes, he does. FA not having the best of run so far, starting on pole position, but perhaps that's just the hard tires not working well. Speaking of tires, we see most of the people going on mediums, and then Marco, FA, Mitch, Loyal, and Anthony Bog going on hards. So some different alterations of the strategy. So presumably no rain, or it's going to be later at the end, so we will have to wait and see what happens, as Caleb and Callum are going to go side by side. Caleb runs a very low downforce setup. It seems that he's gaining a lot on the straights. Could be just slipstream, but that looked very impressive. He does lift off the corner though, to presumably not go into the back of the Alpine, as right behind, I think that is Harvey and Vincent. Harvey presumably being pushed off there and needing to let the position back to Vincent, so quite unfortunate there, which I don't know if that was Harvey's own mistake or if he was indeed pushed off. But still quite unfortunate there. But he is showing that he's faster than FA who took pole position, so props on Harvey. Harvey's doing incredibly well. As Caleb is still going behind, very aggressive defending moves from Callum there. Callum Leons. As let's go a little bit to the front runners. Currently, Andreas Reimann is leading by 1.5 seconds, but John Hearn is trying to close that gap, as the DRS is, I think, enabled this lap already. So he wants to have that advantage to... Oh, that's a slide at the exit of turn 9. You did not want to do that if you want to claw yourself back into the DRS. But yeah, he wants to make the gap bigger behind, as we see a huge train of cars behind going from P3 all the way down to P12. This is going to be very interesting going into turn 14, as that is going to be a very easy overtake there for Caleb, who doesn't even open the RS and already was in front of Callum. Very impressive stuff there from the McLaren. The straight line speed is showing to be pretty good indeed, as right behind we see Harvey again, I think, being pushed wide, or that was FA, but it was one of the Mercedes, so I have no idea who, as Harvey again goes wide. So perhaps it was just his own mistake before when he was side by side with Vincent, as Callum overtakes Caleb White there for the final spot on the podium. A lot of stuff has been happening in these beginning stages of the race. I am not sure what to watch. We have a Caleb-Callum fight here as it still continues on. Marco and Vincent battle right behind them, and then everyone at the back, Harvey going wide every single corner, it seems. Not really finding any grip on those mediums, or perhaps just putting on the wrong setup. I do not know. But I think this is going to end in carnage soon. I'm gonna predict. Bradshaw should change his name to Tinfoil because he's not lucky enough to be gold. Okay, that's harsh. But yeah, Bradshaw has been incredibly unlucky so far this season when he was wanting to battle for the championship. As we see Caleb again going ahead of the Alpine without the RS, as I think we're going to have 3 wide there, as Marco now tries to overtake the Alpine driver on the outside of turn 14. He's gonna make it stick. He does have enough room. The Alpine racing very cleanly there, but unfortunately his exit was just not good enough to warrant him more room into the final corner, as now on the outside goes Vincent. Marco just not leaving any room as he breaks early. Either he breaks early or Vincent just goes full on deep, as Harvey now going side by side with Marco. Marco just not really gaining any positions here, just losing them. Losing to Vincent and Harvey nearly. Or actually, yeah, he will lose it, as he's still around the outside, just enough room. Nearly making contact with the Mercedes, but still very clean from the F3 reserve there, as he goes on to P6. Whew. A lot of stuff has been happening, and I'm at a loss for words. Plus, I haven't done this in a while. I don't count Australia, because that was kinda getting prepped up again after a few months of not doing commentary. But in terms of strategy, as half of the grid is on mediums, half of the grid is on hards, and that is Marco spinning round in the snail section, turn 11 at the exit. Very unfortunate there for the Ferrari, but it is what it is. So yeah, in terms of strategy, as we don't see anyone making moves, Vincent braking quite late though, which thankfully he didn't collide with him, as Loyal has now moved on to the final points paying positions. Finally, in terms of strategy, I think most of the people will probably go from mediums to hards and then hards to mediums. Probably one stop, as N4 is going back at his teammate, but Loyal makes a beautiful switch back there. Jesus, that was incredible choreography from Loyal there, just taking full advantage of N4 going deep into turn 1. Very beautifully done there. But they are losing themselves quite some time if they do continue to battle, as they do have 3 seconds to gain if they want to get back to the train of cars in the front, which is still existent. Everyone's in the RS. But Callum is nearly gonna lose that. It seems that Caleb's race setup of having lower downforce seems to be paying off dividendly, very nicely in the race. I am very much impressed by that, as we went we were in the DRS detection point. Let's see if Callum has it, or if he was just marginally... Yeah, he doesn't have it. That is going to be very unfortunate, as everyone behind him has DRS. One of them is, of course, Vincent Ryman, currently on the inside line, taking it very cleanly, but Callum, with a cleaner racing line on the outside, just has better traction than the Aston Martin. As speaking of the Aston, he was under pressure from Harvey, his race pace is looking brilliantly there from Harvey, as they still go side by side. Harvey has the outside line. Is he gonna stay there, or is he gonna let him through? He's gonna let him through. He's gonna stay in P6, he's gonna be patient, as... Yeah, they haven't actually lost that much time as I thought they would to Callum, as Callum is really struggling with those mediums. As Andreas and John are just improving their gap ahead in P1 and P2, and now Caleb is doing that as well. So yeah, I think the pit window for the medium runners will probably open around lap 13, 14 perhaps. If some people want to go doing an undercut, they could go probably lap 12. The hards, I think, should run quite long on this track, even though this track is very infamous for the tire degradation. The tires do like to wear out quite a lot, especially the fronts. The front load of the tire is very significant. So you want to be very careful with your steering inputs to minimize the tire wear and to make sure that it's equal. As Vincent is going for another run, but not really far there, as he makes a switchback. But again, just under traction, Callum seems to be doing better. As we see Mark Holt making 2 moves on the Red Bulls. I completely missed that, as I was focusing on Callum ahead, as that was... I think that was 2 moves in one corner. Very impressive stuff there from the Ferrari. As I think it's, yeah, Harvey and Vincent again. They really like going side by side into turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. They are still going side by side. Harvey has the inside line this time, not the outside, like in turn 1. Looks up slightly, actually, going into turn 6. And at the exit, gets that position. P5 for Harvey. So it seems that Vincent is really good in the corners, can very easily defend and attack, but when it comes to the traction outside of the corner, at the corner exits, he loses all of his time that he gains, like there again, which, if he manages to learn how to better optimize that over the course of the race, he will gain a lot more time and perhaps a lot more positions, as Harvey gets a little bit squirrely on the exit there out of the snail section of turn 11, 12 and 13, and he is going to be under pressure as his lights are blinking behind, which means he doesn't have any ERS, but saying that, Vincent also doesn't have any, as this track is also very ERS dependent. It really loves eating it. And there we go, that's the first time Vincent has actually gotten good traction out of the corner! Finally, there you go! You see you can do that! You see that is manageable. And Harvey is not gonna come back at him, he's way too far behind. So that just shows what a good traction can do for you, especially in China, as it has a lot of traction zones. Now that I am watching the track layout, you really have to learn your throttle management. Cullen got this. Mark, you weren't supposed to do that. Oh, yeah, that spin was very interesting. Wouldn't be surprised to see medium runner split on lap 11. The undercut is huge here. Oh, I can imagine. Probably alongside the huge degradation of the track, I would probably assume that the tire heating is also quite minimal. You can probably heat them up very easily, so that means you can get better lap times sooner. So yeah, I can see the undercut doing huge stuff there for both the medium runners and the hard runners, so I think we'll just have to wait and see what people want to do. But I think lap 11 is just still a bit too early. Like I said, the tires get eaten on this track. So I think we'll see at least a lap later or 2 laps later as... Oh, Harvey brakes very late going into turn 14. He's gonna make it stick. Let's see if traction is on Vincent's side again. A little bit squirmy on the exit. The backhand sliding out from the Aston, but still remains in P5. Very nicely done there. So he is learning slowly. Slowly but surely. He's taking the hang of it. Slowly. As nearly making contact with the Alpine, actually making contact multiple times, being very dangerous there, but to be honest, Callum is going very slowly in those 1, 2, 3 sections, so I think the Aston is going to be lucky that it's not on simulation damage, because if it was, that would have been wing damage, no questions asked, and that would not have ended well. What happened to Charlie? Charlie P14. I have no idea. I think he made... Oh no, yeah, I know. Charlie made contact with the McLaren of Adam Bradshaw, which caused him to DNF. He got a 5-second time penalty, and I think he boxed for new mediums. So I think his race is basically ruined. He will have to hope for a safety car, which at this point... I'm not counting it out, but people are racing quite cleanly, which is impressive for F2 standards. And now I can't wait to see a safety car next lap, or even this lap. That's nice, yeah. But to be honest, I'm not really a good curse. I don't know how to curse people. So, perhaps we won't see a safety car. Of course, we will see. As we go on to lap 11, Andreas's gap to P1 has been extended even more, 4.5 seconds. Andreas is in a league of his own, just seemingly having a lot of pace in that Aston Martin compared to everyone else. As we see Caleb also closing in finally on John Hearn in P2, so he's also slowly catching up, but still slower than the Aston, which is very impressive, which I might add. It's interesting. So it's lap 11. Let's see if your prediction is gonna be correct, David. Let's see if anyone stops this lap. I'm gonna predict not. I'm gonna predict around lap 12 or 13 we'll see first people go into the pits. But not lap 11. I think it's still a bit early, as Harvey gets a little bit of back-end loss at the exit of turn 9, so those tires already seem to be going off, which probably is the case for all of the medium runners, even Harry Spanswick and Charlie in the back. So yeah, let's see. The only thing I'm quite sad with is that we have this huge train of cars going from P4 to P9, and everyone is just far behind to make any overtakes into the hairpin of turn 14. As we cross the pit lane entry, we still have these 2 Red Bulls. Oh, one of them goes in. Yeah, you were correct. You were correct. One of them goes in. One of them goes in, and 4 goes in to presumably switch to hard tires. So, hey, your prediction was correct. Nice. Congratulations. That is impressive indeed. And yeah, he does go on hards. Probably a quick pit stop there from the Red Bull boys. Is he gonna emerge ahead from these 2 though? It is going to be very close. Charlie has to be careful on the inside there, as nearly makes contact with the Red Bull. Also nearly making a switchback, as Harry's doing a Formula Drift here into turn 1 and 2. Again, at the exit of turn 3, just drifting all over the place. I think he will go in again, or as well, very, very soon. 8 tenths lost in that one sector alone. You can lose a lot of time in that sector. It's also a very confusing one if you're racing with no assists, because basically the cornering and braking is very blind. either do it instinctively or just practice it a lot. As Vincent makes contact with Callum there, as he wanted to go around the outside, but the door was closed instantly there, which gave Harvey a good opportunity and a good exit out of the hairpin, but he couldn't go for it, as we see Callum going into the pits now, trying for the undercut, as what happened there with the Williams? I have no idea, as these two again go side by side. They really love going side by side here. They leave each other room, as always. Harvey, as always, on the outside, and has the inside line for turn 3. He's gonna make it stick. Short shift to third gear. Pushes him wide and they make contact! I think that is... Ooh. Oh, that was not good, as that's a virtual... That's not a virtual safety car. I see the safety car out on track. Can someone tell... Oh, there we go, there we go. It's now a safety car. So yeah, that was... Oof. That's actually gonna be bad for Callum and then for as they box. They will lose so many positions there. Callum is gonna lose actually everything here. That was very unfortunate from the Alpine. Very bad timing from the safety car there. Because I think under safety car, people lose 11... No, it's not 11 seconds. It's around 14 to 15 seconds. And the next car ahead of him is 17 seconds. So yeah, Callum has gone from the podium places to P11, which is hugely unfortunate there. But actually, if he has new mediums, he can box for mediums. As what happened here? I'm confused. Well, I don't know if that Ferrari of Marco just wanted to go lawn mowing, but he did stop dead on track at the hairpin, and I don't know why. As of course everyone is going into the pits, double stacking as well, but thankfully for Marco, he didn't lose too much time out of the double stack as he goes into P8, and actually Callum doesn't lose as many positions as I thought he would. I was actually mistaken, but he still does lose 4 positions. 4 positions from Anthony Bog, Mitch Snape, and FA. So yeah, they are also on mediums, so they do have it. Why are you going off? I would not be surprised if he just got a warning out of that. I'm actually gonna go check, because they are getting to the safety car. He actually didn't get a warning. I thought I saw him go off the track fully. Perhaps not, maybe I'm blind. But yeah, Andreas is still looking incredible here to stay in P1 with those fresh hearts, but like I said before, FA, Mitch and Anthony also looking very nice on those new mediums. I think actually starting on hards probably has paid off more than starting on mediums, speaking of the safety car, because we did see mainly the medium runners wanting to go around lap 13 to go to the pits, so we can definitely count that the mediums do last quite long. As why is Callum leaving a huge gap there? I hate when people do that. Like, they say the safety car is not gonna go in either way. Why do you leave such a huge gap? I think that could be penalized, because I think, if I remember correctly, per the regulations, you need to have at least 10 car lengths to the car ahead, and that was not 10 car lengths. Wait, yeah, that wasn't 10 car lengths. So if it's reported, it could be penalized. Why are you in? Interesting. Perhaps he's just... I think actually, that's a good strategy call. I think he was in around P10 to 11 point, so boxing for mediums to get better tires. I think it's a good call, actually. So that's actually not bad from him. But yeah, we are going to... Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead on this lap. We're going to restart. I'm surprised no one has penalties, even though it does make sense because China is quite hard to get penalties. But you can track extend on some parts, like right here in turns 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9 are very easy to track extend if you get a really bad exit here in turn 9. You can also quite extend in the final corner. Final corner is also very easy to track extend. That's early for the safety car? No, actually no, we saw it in F2 going there, so it's actually perhaps not early. And that's a wrong button. Why do I keep pressing wrong buttons? So yeah, let's see a little bit of the positions changes while we wait for the safety car to go in, as that was nearly contact between Caleb and Andreas. So Anthony Bogg actually improves the most out of anyone because of that safety car, moving 8 positions up from his starting position, and one who lost a lot is of course Vincent, but we already knew that. Very unfortunate there with contact from Harvey Conway. I still don't know what happened there. I need to look back at the footage, as I think I had a pretty nice view there, but I think Harvey just went fully made contact with the Aston Martin, as the other Aston Martin goes off, already gaining 4/10 of a second of that restart, but not the best restart. That's all I can say, as we've seen in F3 definitely already gaining a second some people, but still pretty good nonetheless. Mitch Snape and FA going side by side into turn 3. Mitch having the outside line. Is he gonna make it stick? As this is an interesting camera angle. And no, he won't, but he still goes side by side using all of the errors that he has. Brakes very late, nearly making contact with John Hearn right ahead of him, but just narrowly missing it out and taking a position in the meantime, going into P4. Very nice move there from the Ferrari driver, trying to get some very nice points and perhaps a podium position here, as he is looking very rapid so far on these mediums, as that's a mistake at the exit of 9 as I say that. But yeah, I think the hard tires are just not up to temperature yet, so once they do, after a few laps, I think the tires will be quite equal. Because, like we already stated before in the beginning of the race, the tires do wear out quite quickly. As, let's see, I thought he was going for a move there, but the camera just made it look like that. As I think behind we actually have a move with Charlie Gordon, and then 4 being spun there, or spinning on his own. I don't know what happened there, but I did see both him and Charlie going side by side, so perhaps there was some contact made between the two drivers, as now Markov is trying to claw some positions back, trying to actually go on a move on Callum, trying to see if he can maybe squeeze in a gap, but those were closed a long way before, so it's good that he didn't go for any types of moves like that, because that would have ended in another carnage. So he is still going to be in P8 and be patient. Everyone is being quite patient except for Mitch. Mitch just went fully on FA. Perhaps FA didn't really get a nice restart off of the line, or maybe just made a mistake. As we see another guy go wide, Harry Spanswick behind. I'm quite confused, but it's fine. DRS is still not enabled, so the drivers cannot use that to their advantage. It should be enabled next lap, or yeah, next lap, lap 18, as they just are going to cross the finish line in a few corners. and then they can use it. As we see right behind Loyal and Harvey going side by side, Harvey trying to gain some positions back after that contact, battling for P5, and doing it very nicely, as Marco has also improved one position, going into P7. Callum not enjoying those hards, but we also did see that he didn't enjoy the medium, so perhaps a really bad setup, as N4 is in the wall. And that's another safety car. Is that in the pits, or is that right outside the finish line? As Harry nearly makes contact with the safety car. I didn't see what happened there. I would need to check back the stream to see what happened. I don't know if he just fully went there, if it was an intentional DNF. I really don't know. I'm gonna look back at it actually. As I'm saying that, let's see. Oh no, at least from the stream it seems that he just loses it. Just loses the car. But loses it very late. Okay, that's a weird one. I cannot wait to see a POV of that. That's gonna be interesting. But let's go back to the present, as it's lap 18. I think we will see some people box in for softs, and mainly that's gonna be the back markers. I would say from P8 below, because I think everyone there wants to get some softs, even though I don't think they're a good choice. It is going to be 8 laps to the end, so perhaps they wouldn't be the worst choice. I think they would still be a bad choice, but not the worst choice. So let's see if anyone else will perhaps go in, as yeah, we see Caleb going in and everyone behind following him except for Anthony Bog. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, that's gonna be hard for Andreas to defend. And we see people going on mediums and softs, so very mixed strategies there from drivers. This is... I'm very excited for the ending now, as yeah, it's a nicely mixed bag. We see 5 soft runners and 6 medium runners. I didn't think that people still had fresh mediums to choose from, so if I knew that, then yeah, I would say mediums all the way. I would not use softs at this ending now. If the safety car was around lap 22, then yeah, sure, I would use softs. But because the tires just die around this track, I think the mediums are going to be a incredibly better choice. Because I think we will already see softs spinning around and making mistakes 2 laps after the safety car is going to restart. So I guess we will just have to wait and see what happens. But the only thing I do know is that Andreas and Anthony are basically screwed. Because Andreas is on 5-lap bolt hards, which already should be near the drop-off point, so I would say around 15 laps, perhaps? No, not 15 laps, 15%. And Anthony Bog is gonna be a huge wall for everyone behind him. People are gonna have some difficulties overtaking the Williams driver in P2. But I mean, fair is fair. He is battling for the podium, but I think he has made a huge mistake. Oh, and speaking of that, he boxes. He realizes that he made a huge mistake, and now Andreas has no defense behind him. Andreas has, I think, just lost the win. Because of this, I don't think the win is on the cards, or the podium. I think at least P7 or P6 is gonna be the only thing that he's gonna be able to get. Because I don't think the soft runners will overtake him after they drop off, or after the soft drop off. So yeah, Andreas let's see what he can do. Perhaps, I mean, we did see his pace compared to everyone. He was getting a lot on that opening stint with the mediums, getting 5 seconds ahead of P2. So we can see that he has the pace, but does he have the pace with all hards against new softs and new mediums is going to be the question, and I am all here for it to see what is going to happen, as the safety car will box this lap, so we don't have to wait long to see what's going to happen. And I just now realized that I am very rusty with commentating. I should do it a bit more, because I'm slightly struggling to find what to say, not like before, when I was just speaking some nonsense. I think I need to do it some more. I really haven't done it in a while, and I really do enjoy doing it. As we did see the indication that the safety car is in this lap, so let's see what's going to happen. It's gonna be Andreas making the restart for the second time. So I think he will want to make a different restart to disorient his rivals behind him, but let's see what he's gonna do. Still in the first gear! I would not start in the first gear. And he starts in the first gear. I think that's a huge mistake, but oh well. He still gets a pretty good restart. 5/10 already going into turn 1. Let's see behind if anyone is maybe ambitious. And going into turn 1, Mitch Snape is ambitious. Again, we saw this with FA, and we're seeing this now with John Hearn. He now has the outside line. Let's see if he gets better traction. He's getting a bit squeezed off on the exit, making contact with the Williams, as the Williams also loses it slightly there. And he doesn't want to do it again, as we see Caleb actually overtaking for the lead. Andreas is already losing a lot of time and positions there. And if he manages to defend from people behind, Caleb can take that to his advantage and just extend his gap and remain in P1 until the end of the race. As we see behind, FA and Callum going side by side, FA going ahead there. We have 3 wide with people there. Contact between the Red Bull and Callum, I think, but thankfully no spins, nothing major, as now Harvey is trying to take advantage of that with people battling, going 3 wide at a corner where you don't really want to go 3 wide. As Loyal now trying to go for a move, but Marco, I think, using all of his ERS to stay ahead, and right ahead of him we see FA and Callum side by side, as that is Harvey trying to make a dive bomb into the hairpin and making it stick. He does check extend in the process. That could be visualized as overtaken off the track, but he was ahead even before the corner, I think, so perhaps not. As now we see Loyal again trying to go back at Marco, but I don't think he's gonna make it stick. He's still gonna stay ahead. Ade losing another position to John. Very unfortunate there. Let's see if Mitch Snape is gonna make a move around the outside. Andreas not leaving any space there, but I think because of Mitch's fresh tires, yes, he does get a brilliant exit off of the corner. Very good traction there. As we see 2 wide behind with Callum and the 2 Mercedes, but thankfully nothing has happened there, as Callum, I think, improved 1 position. Very nice there from the Alpine. Still staying in this train. People also weaving slightly on the straight, trying to get some clean air before the corner. But don't do too many weaving, as you could get a warning or at worst a penalty. So you want to be very careful with that. But let's see on this straight, the RS is still not enabled, but let's see who has good straight line speed even without it, as we see 3 wide behind. Let's see what's gonna happen there. I think that was a little bit of moving under braking from Charlie in the Alpine there, as he makes slight contact with Vincent, and then bowling into Loyal, as I think I saw some damage there on the outside being... yeah, that is the Red Bull's front right-hand plate going off of the car, which is very interesting. I didn't see what happened there, what type of contact was made there. As we see Harry again doing some Formula drifting into turn 1. As Andreas is actually not losing too much time as I thought he would, still staying in P4, not where he would have wanted, as he was leading for the first half of the race, but still staying in good points-paying positions. And speaking of good points-paying positions, Caleb is already nearly 2 seconds ahead of John Hearn right behind him. John is gonna have to wait for those softs to start dying off, which I think it will be very, very soon, as we are on lap 23 out of 28. I think maybe even next lap the softs are going to die, or at least be in the drop-off point, as Mitch Snape using all of his DRS to stay in the DRS of John Hearn, and he is, which also gives him the advantage that he's ahead of the guys behind, which don't have DRS, as they go side by side into the hairpin of turn 14. FA is gonna make that stick, as behind we see Callum and Harvey going at it again, but doing it very cleanly, and Callum is still ahead of the Mercedes reserve from F3. We see also a lot of lights blinking on a lot of the cars, meaning a lot of people are using a lot of ERS. I'm saying a lot. Indeed, that makes a lot of sense. As Callum, I missed Ade getting actually overtaken by F. Did I? No, I didn't miss it. It was in the hairpin. Why is my memory so bad? He's gonna get overtaken by another driver there, going into turn 6, as he makes contact with them, with Callum Leons in the Alpine, gets slidey on the exit, which gave Harvey a nice opportunity, but he opted to stay behind. And be patient, even though you can see that he's actually gonna go for a move into turn 9, 8, and just wasn't left any room there at the exit of turn 9. Thankfully no contact there, as he's slightly weaving under braking, probably caught Marco off guard. Maybe that's why people are waving, just trying to catch people off guard, but then if they do get caught off guard, they will just get spun because they will get punted into. Which is interesting. But let's see if Harvey will maybe try and go make a move into the hairpin. His right line speed is fairly similar to the Aston Martin of Vincent, as he makes mistake at the exit there. Or was it contact with Marco? I did see him on the right wing mirror, so perhaps he just lost it. I really do not know, as Marco, I think, lost the position to Vincent. I am not checking these well. Which even better shows that I'm rusty, that I need to do more commentaries. I shouldn't have stopped doing them. As we see Midge there sliding into turn 3, just trying to close the gap to P2, John Hearn there. But John is also getting some time to Caleb there. I think those softs are in the drop-off point. Yes, you can see both John and Mitch gaining a lot at the exit of turns 7, 8, or not 7, 8 and 9. So I think they are slightly dropping off, which is gonna be good for John and Mitch. But let's see what's going to happen. Is Caleb actually going to be able to defend this? I guess it's only a matter of time, as Marco wants to claw back those positions that he lost as per contact with Harvey there, as Harvey goes defensive into the hairpin, being under pressure from Vincent behind him, but Vincent does not make any moves at the exit of it. As you can see, he's actually learned how to get better traction off of corners, so slowly learning, as they are both on softs, so very good there. As let's see here, oh, Harvey opening a gap for Vincent, leaving enough there. They did spin last time, making contact. Are they gonna do it again? No! As Vincent gets a very bad exit there off of turn 3, and they stay alive this time! Somehow. Very much alive. So that is nice to see, at least some clean driving. I think before it was just... Well, I'm at a loss for words for that. I don't know how you managed to do that. That you just screwed over your race. Okay. So that's something that happened somehow. But let's see. Slight battle here in front. Looks like even the mediums are slightly dropping off, because they're not gaining as much time as they have before on Caleb, as Mitch stays behind. Mitch doesn't think that he has the pace if he overtakes John to get closer to Caleb, so he's gonna still use John there to his advantage. As we see yellow flags, that is Charlie, I think, who was sideways at the exit of turn 14 hairpin. I did see moves being made around with Marco and Charlie, so perhaps there was some contact made with the Ferrari and Alpine drivers. I have no idea. As Harry goes in, and the NFs. That is interesting indeed. I don't know why, perhaps he got some damage, but still quite unfortunate. 2 more DNFs and points are going to be guaranteed for everyone, but I don't think that's going to happen unless we just see a massive pile-up happen, which is also very unrealistic at this point of the race. I don't think people will do that. I don't think that's gonna happen. As, yeah, we are on the penultimate lap of the race. Loyal does take the fastest lap after he boxed for it. That is gonna be another point, as in this league we do award fastest lap points even outside the top 10, not like in real F1 where you need to be in the top 10. So we give some drivers at the back to battle for something. But yeah, nothing happening here. But at the front, John and Mitch are losing time to Caleb, which I thought would be the opposite. I thought that Caleb was gonna lose a lot of time to John and Mitch, but I was surprised again, just like before, with the pit stops and other stuff which I don't remember. But it seems that I'm very bad with predicting stuff like this, or at least in China, but China is a pretty bad track. I don't like China, so yeah. Perhaps it's only on the test track. As Mitch gets a little drifty at exit of turn 3, you do not want to do that when you're fighting for a podium, because this is the final lap of the race, this is your final chance, and what are you doing? Again, sliding. Don't do that. Stay in the DRS. Let's see if anything else is happening behind. Not really. Yeah, not really. Everyone's staying in quite a train again, like we saw before, from P5 to P10. So I think we can see what's gonna happen in this fight, as I don't know. I don't think that the softs can be in the puncture range at this point. I think if the safety car was earlier, I think they could have been, but now I think it's not really for that, as FA just has huge straight line speed, as we see Anthony Bogg spinning round there at the exit of the snail section, as Mitch tries to go back at him on the inside, and he is gonna make it stick, as FA was caught off guard there, making a mistake at the exit. Mitch still trying to stay around the outside. He's gonna have the DRS and DRS off the line, but no, he stays in P4, as Caleb wins the Chinese Grand Prix there with John in P2. FA just barely gets the final spot on the podium. Mitch stays in P4. Unfortunate there for Mitch. Callum moves back to P5, getting some solid points for Alpine. Unfortunate there for Andreas and Vincent, finishing in P5 and P6. This is a glitch. He did finish in P5 and 6. Marko Dordovic finishes in P8, Harvey finishes in P7, not bad for the F3 reserves, alongside Charlie, also getting points for Alpine, another reserve. Anthony Bog is gonna finish P9, even after the spin, the exit of the snail section, so he will actually finish P10, not P9. That's my mistake. And then Loyal is gonna be in P11, but it does take a fast lap point to get at least something out of this race. So, yeah, overall, a solid race. Not the best, definitely, but it was a solid race. A lot of moves happening all around the grid, but we did see huge trains as well, where nothing really happened, and we did see one major incident causing a no, it wasn't a DNF, it was only major front wing damage. So yeah, the final positions are as follows. Caleb White is the winner of the Chinese Grand Prix. Right beside them are John Hearn and FA on the final step on the podium. Mirage Snape is going to be 4th. Vincent Ramden is going to be 5th with Andreas in P6, not Marco. Marco is going to be in P7. Harvey is going to be in P8. Charlie Gordon is going to be in P9. And Born by April takes the final points paying position. As Loyal, oh no, Callum I think also got demoted. Yeah, I think that's also wrong. As yeah, Loyal gets the fastest lap of the race with point to his name. And we see some DNFs of N4 and Anna Bradshaw at the end, with also Harry Spanswick retiring in the pits. So yeah, solid race. It was solid. I did get the race director, I think, yeah, I did. So yeah, that was okay. Let me just change some screens after this goes here. Yeah, there we go. And let's do this. And there we go. Okay, so I don't do interviews. I'm horrible at interviews, that's why I don't do them. Maybe in the future, but I don't think so. Maybe if I get some courage to do it, because I really don't want to do them. Because like I said, I'm really bad at those. So we are going to end things here. So I hope that you have enjoyed the race and the commentary. If so, please subscribe to our channel and leave a like to get more in touch with the streams that are going to be happening as time progresses. Tomorrow we also have the F1 race happening at the exact same time as F2 started today and F3 yesterday. And in the description there are some links where you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok, GRS League or Global Racing Series or GRS _F1. There is also a link to the Discord server where we host these events, and yeah, you can join us in terms of the racing. The mid-season signups are open if you are interested and if you enjoyed the racing you saw today, or if you want to help out in the server. The staff signups I think are also open or should be open. And then if you just want to hang out, you can also do that as well. So yeah, once again, I hope that you enjoyed today's race and the commentary. My name is Kikrolin, and I will see you next time. I don't know when that is, but next time. Enjoy the rest of the day, and have a good night.